Hey Cody, how's it going?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. This is Alex Callan calling from the Faction Radio. If anyone's just tuned in, we have Cody Quistad from Wage War on the line. You guys have just released possibly what many are regarding as one of the albums of the year, Manic. How are you feeling about it?
Cloud nine, honestly. Yeah, it's been a really cool week, and given all the work and time and thought put into it, it feels good to see it all paying off and people enjoying it as much as we hope that they would.
Absolutely, and it has gone absolutely ballistic. I mean, Wage War already are one of the metal bands that, when you look at play counts online and kind of the mass appeal that you have, you are really at the forefront. But I feel as if Manic, the reception it's got, has kind of blown anything out of the water. Where I've even been hearing, people discovering you guys for the first time on this album, which is something I kind of wouldn't have expected for Wage War at this point.
Yeah, I mean, that's always the goal, and that fires me up if that's true. I think we wanted to, push the boundaries and but keep a sense of who we. I think I'm trying to say how we've been saying this. So it's the record is kind of like a step back into the heavy realm, but a
Mhm.
step forward in the melodic and even like experimental versions of our band. Like I don't know, there's just a lot of different stuff on there, and we didn't necessarily write it to be a playlisting album, but it certainly does have little whether you like metal, rock, pop, country, even like there's just something for everybody on there.
It is incredibly eclectic and does kind of, intertwine all those genres. And the title track Manic was something that actually really, really stood out for me because when I first heard it, I immediately related it to a lot of kind of modern day rappers who might be intertwining, heavier backing tracks with their raps. And one of the people that I mentioned in my review was Lil Peep. And you actually recorded the album with Drew, who was one of Peep's longtime collaborators. How did that kind of impact Manic as a song?
Yeah. So yeah, Manic just kind of like happened. Like it was pretty much done before I had brought it to Drew. Um, and then we started working on it, and he kind of was able to do the things to it that made it make sense and kind of have credibility, if you will. And as far as like making the beat cooler and like all of these different vocal effects, and Drew is an absolute genius and one of my favorite people to collaborate with. Um, but yeah, I mean, it was cool to have him, in my corner on that, and he really trusted the vision and wanted to keep taking it there. And yeah, I mean, long story short, working with Drew on it was incredible for the job. So it was awesome.
I suppose, now that Wage War have gone through so many albums where you've done so many, different eclectic things and you are kind of being so innovative and creative, is it exciting or scary kind of knowing, okay, we're technically releasing a rap song. How are metal fans going to feel about this?
Yeah, I mean, it was. I mean, I've always been confident in the song and believed that it's like this is like one of the best Wage War songs that we've written. But at the same time, how it's dressed up is certainly a little bit different. And I did think that it was going to be. I think I knew that the end goal was always going to be that people were going to come around to it, but I thought it would always be an uphill battle, and it's been quite the opposite of that. It's just been incredibly overwhelming, and people are all about it. So that gets me excited because I think it's a cool direction for our band. It's not something that I can point to another band and be like, oh, this sounds like this. Like it sounds like something that is our own thing. And a big goal of this album was to just create an all over identity for the band, and like do something that is us and ours, and like not have to hear, oh, that sounds like this, it sounds like that. It's like, no, this is us. So I think that's kind of the first step in finding a direction that is unique to us.
I find it interesting that you say that, Cody, because, as someone that reviews albums professionally, quite often most bands nowadays are kind of leaning towards the Wage War sound. Like much more than Wage War leaning into anyone else's sound. So I think it's really cool that you guys have managed to continue to grow and develop that sound. And from an outside perspective, I'm kind of interested to see if some other bands do follow suit.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is kind of the goal, is just to kind of, keep building the identity. And, I remember the first time I saw somebody post for fans of Wage War thing, and I was like, oh man, like that's so cool that people like our band enough to kind of, listen and find inspiration from it. So, yeah, I mean, we'll see, I guess.
And I know that you guys kind of went a bit isolated for this release and went out to the northern Georgia woods to record. And obviously the output that you've come out with is incredible, but was that as productive as you initially expected, or was it kind of like a boys camping trip with a lot of beers and partying and, oh shit, we better get some work done now?
Probably a little bit of both, but I would say more so that it was successful. We didn't really have a schedule. It was just kind of like get up and see what happens, and see if there's if there's something to be worked on, or somebody had an idea, or I had already brought a lot of ideas that I just wanted to get Britain fully tracked on and like have full demos. So I think we had like 4 or 5 songs that we like finished up there, and then obviously a fair amount of hang time and hot tubs, and the cabin was insane. It was on the side of a mountain. It was like 3 stories. It was crazy, but yeah, I would say a fair amount of both.
Was that because I know quite a few other bands have done it in the past. Was that the first time Wage War have gone somewhere different to completely isolate themselves to write?
Technically, yes. When we did Pressure, we were in LA for 4 weeks by ourselves, but that was actually doing the record. This was simply just writing. But yeah, this is the first time we've ever done anything like that. And something that I think that we'll probably continue to do.
Absolutely. I mean, it sounds like a really cool way to go about it. And, there's no limitations on when you can write, or as you said, there's no time schedules. So yeah, it's really cool how you guys have gone about it.
Yeah, I think we'll probably continue doing it. And obviously this one held a little extra special weight because we hadn't seen each other in so long. So having the ability to be together for the first time in 6 or 7 months was special, let alone getting to work on music and just kind of feel like we still had jobs. You know what I mean?
Well, I suppose with that, how is Florida at the moment? Are you guys able to get out and play shows in support of the release of Manic?
So we just finished an entire U.S. tour with Beartooth. So yeah, I mean, seemingly most places, I mean, the restrictions are different everywhere, but we did 32 out of 32 shows in the U.S. and went all the way from California to New York to Florida to Seattle. So we hit all 4 corners and almost everything in between. So that's all we have tour wise for the rest of this year. We have a couple one-off shows and things that we're working on, but yeah, we have next year almost entirely booked out for what's to come and in support of Manic. So
well, hopefully next year we'll see you guys get down to Australia. I know it's so hard to plan at this point in time.
Yeah, I mean that's always the goal, and we've already had plenty of conversations about it. I think it's just kind of time's got to be right, and we want to make sure that we're respecting everyone and doing everything that we need to do to keep everyone safe. So, but yeah, I mean, getting back to Australia is 100% at the top of our list.
Absolutely. Well, I can't wait to see the new material live, especially with some of the trap production and certain beats that have been thrown into it. I think it's going to be a really impressive show when we are able to see it.
Yeah, I'm almost equally as excited as well. We haven't gotten to play a lot of those. Yeah, we played 3 songs on the tour that we just did, but none of them were Manic, which is the one that I'm excited to play.
Yeah, that'll be unreal to see live for the first time. Do you know when you're planning on unveiling that, or just saving it?
I mean, we got a show we have a show in Orlando or Daytona in October or November 12th. So I'm assuming that'll be the live debut.
So, because that would is Orlando and OCLA, they're not technically the same. Like, would that be a hometown show?
More home state.
Yeah.
I think that Daytona is, I think that's like 2.5 hours away from where we're based out of. But I mean, home shows are kind of just home shows for us. Like, the Ocala, Orlando, Jacksonville, Tampa, all kind of live within about a 2-hour radius of each other. So, we just call them all home shows for that matter.
Well, in that case, it'll be the perfect time to unveil it. I really hope that there's some footage not filmed off an iPhone that I can have a suss of after that comes out. Well,
yeah, I think we're gonna do some things to make sure that does happen.
Awesome. Well, we'll keep an eye out for that. Until then, if you've tuned in late, we've been on the line with Cody Quistad from Wage War. They've just released one of the albums of the year, Manic. We'll go into the title track and play Manic now, but thank you so much, Cody, for getting on the line and having a chat.
Yeah, thank you for